Hello, my name is Ali Major, and I'm here today to talk to you about a new product that I'm making. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and esteemed guests, and fellow creatives, today I stand before you with a vision to revolutionize the entertainment industry and redefine the very essence of talent and creativity. Welcome to the Innovative Nexus, where we dare to challenge the status quo, where we celebrate the unconventional, and where we champion the unprecedented voices in music and film. In a world dominated by Hollywood industry standards, where age, appearance, and conformity dictate the narrative, we refuse to be bound by these limitations. We believe that true talent shows no boundaries, no constraints, and no prejudices. At the Innovative Nexus, we are on a mission to unearth the raw, unfiltered talent that lies beyond the mainstream norms, wanting to be discovered and celebrated. Our platform is a sanctuary for the mavericks, the trailblazers, and the rule breakers in the world of entertainment. It is a stage where artists and filmmakers can defy conventions, push boundaries, and unleash their creativities without fear of judgment or rejection. Here, diversity is not just a buzzword, it is the very foundation which we build our creative community. As we embark on this journey together, I invite you to join us in this groundbreaking venture, where innovation meets inspiration and where the unconventional becomes the new standard of excellence. Together, let us create a nexus of creativity, a hub of originality, and a beacon of hope for all those who dare to dream beyond the confines of the ordinary. Thank you for being a part of this momentous occasion. Together, let us prove and pave the way for a new era in entertainment, one where talent reigns supreme and creativity knows no bounds. Welcome to the Innovative Nexus. Welcome to a world where true talent shines bright. Thank you. I am Ali Major. I own a company called Seven Sun Entertainment, and I am steadily trying to change the world. And as you see, I have a show called The Gag-Order, and I invite you to watch, to like, subscribe, and share. I'm doing my thing, and we working together to change this industry. You have a wonderful time and enjoy the show. Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to the Gag Order. How's everybody
Hello,
doing tonight?
hello,
Hello,
hello.
hello.
Hello. We have a special guest in the house, and I would like to take time to thank him for coming here today. This show is dedicated to veterans, and we're going to try and get this right and get them all on the same page so that they understand what's going on and how to get their 100% VA with a job.
That's
Um,
right, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we got Edwin Best. He is one of our military's greatest and a veteran, and he's been through some challenges, and we're going to talk about it because we want everybody to be educated about the process that you need to know about if you are going to be able to get everything that's due to you.
That's right. That's right. That's
That's
right.
right.
So at this time, I would like to give Mr. Edwin a chance to let people know about himself and maybe where if he has anywhere that they can find him, they can find him.
Yeah, yeah. My name is Edwin Best. I was a veteran. I am a veteran from Fort Hood, Texas. I was there for 5 years as a military police. So served my country, even well, you could say not during wartime, but it was wartime for me because as an MP, we had to deal with soldiers that know how to fight. So um, it was very interesting. It was a fun experience. I enjoyed it very much at some points of it, and then at other points, things happen. On my way out, I got injured, and from there, I went to the reserves, and from the reserve, I was medically discharged from my injury. So, and that experience is a lot to learn from uh, by itself, because a lot of veterans out there are dealing with injuries that the injury itself is hard to deal with. It's not just um, dealing with the VA hospitals, not with dealing with the doctors. Is coming to realization that you are basically a shortcoming. Now it's a little different, a learning curve, and a lot of us. For me, my injury was not a physical injury per se, like a missing limb or whatever. It was more of a mental injury, which is even harder
That's right.
to deal with.
Absolutely.
Uh, my injury is a TBI, it's a traumatic brain injury, and PTSD. Uh, Both of them contribute to giving me migraines. It's hard to say which one is doing which one, basically both feeding off each other. So in that experience, it's kind of hard for the VA to sit there and pinpoint what's going on, what's wrong, how much of a difficulty is it for a person, because it's a hit and miss type of situation. It's a one day I'm doing good and the next day I won't be doing good. Um, so there's a lot of different, how should I say, evaluations that goes through this process of trying to figure out where in that category does a person like myself who doesn't have a missing limb or something else broken or is causing the issue. So it's harder for me to get a VA approved.
I understand that. On this show,
And
we're big on mental health and talking about mental health. We did that a couple. We did that for many shows, and I myself, just like you, am traumatized myself, brother. So I understand. I just wanted to put that
Yeah,
same. We all got PTSD, all three of us right here.
yeah,
But it's sad though because the military wants your body, they want your life, they want you to put things on the line, and even in this medical industry, the medical side of it, your brain is it's an organ, it's organ damage. That's still part of your body. So for it to not be considered bodily injury is ridiculous,
that's right.
and
regardless.
what they consider it is because I'm able to walk and talk and function that it's good enough.
Mm.
But they're not thinking about the mental part of it. How everyday,
That's right.
daily things is a hard task.
That's right.
Because your brain works for everything,
That's right.
every aspect of your life. Your brain is in.
That's right. The fight is
Absolutely.
hard. The fight is hard, and the fight is long,
The
and it's
fight
going
is
to be for
in.
the rest of your
Yeah,
life that you're fighting for this. So they should not be fighting you because of it. Absolutely.
right.
Jinx, you wanna continue? Do you have a question for Mr. Best? Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Before we start, I would like to say I would like to do my introduction as we do.
Oh,
Jinx, can you introduce yourself and tell people where they can meet you at?
yeah, I'm Jinx, and I'm really not on social media like that. But I do have an Instagram, Mama Bear No Care. You can hit me up on there, see me. I don't really be posting much, but that's where I'm at.
I did this
Um,
because I wanted to do this.
I know you did. I know you did. He just want to shine his shine.
That's
That's
right.
all right.
My name is Ali Major, and you can find me anywhere on social media. Ali Major, Seven Sun Entertainment, Trap Heathen. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, anywhere. I am a proud digital media company owner. Um, I do everything and then some. Now let's get on with the show.
You forgot all about the show. You ain't even get the show the props.
What you
Like
mean?
we
It's
the
the
gag,
gag order. We in
we
here.
the gag order. You can find us on da, 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 da. You
You can
skipped
find the
us.
gag order there.
All right, let's continue with the show. Go ahead, Jinx.
Yeah, so Edwin, I know we had spoke briefly yesterday in our prequels, um, and you had said that it was really a struggle for you to be able to get your benefits from the VA, and that initially you were getting barely anything, and you've fought for a while to be able to get what you deserve. How
Right.
how has that, like, break that whole process down? Like, how did it start, and how did it end, and what
Yeah.
did you have to do
Well,
throughout all that?
The beginning is the first they want you to submit, whatever information. Okay, and this is back in beginning of 2000. Yeah, I started my process. Um, yeah, so from there is more. Oh, we got to check your medical records, and for me, as an MP, they don't ever want you to be sick because if you're sick, you can't work, and they have to find somebody. So they tell you, oh, if you're a soldier on the battlefield, you still have to fight. So for us, we couldn't report being ill because they still wanted us to go out on the road and patrol and do the duties as, a police officer. So my medical records was not that thick. You know, eh, my council statements was a whole different story. We won't go into that part, but that's a whole different thing. Counseling was because even in the military, I didn't keep my mouth shut. You know, when there was something that was being done wrong or shown wrong, I spoke up, and a lot of people did not like that.
Yeah, nobody likes
So,
that.
so they tried to
Especially
get me in
authority
trouble.
figures. Mm-mm.
Yeah, they tried to get me in trouble several times, but that's where you come into knowing the law yourself, knowing the rules and regulations of what they can and cannot do. So the most that they could do was just write me up, put it on paper, and that was it. I never lost a rank, anything. Um, but when it came down to your medical records, uh, they want you to keep that kind of quiet. So a lot of the stuff that happened medically, it was kept within the company, so it wasn't recorded. So when you go to report your injuries, you can't claim anything because there is no actual records, medical records, and that's what they try to sit there and say they base the decision off of. But if you read the VA disability website, it'll tell you that if an injury or incident that happened in the military gets worse, you can get a higher evaluation from it. But they had to begin somewhere though. You had to start as soon as you get out to put in for your disability, your benefits, because everybody start out with 0% basically, because you could get free, at least get free medical care. I would advise anybody not to lie because there are people out there who really need the services or really need the benefits, and it's taken away from those people who have um, real problems to deal with, issues. So if you are healthy, count your blessings. And for those of us who need a little extra, you
I
know,
agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
we got to be in there in the system and be able to work properly. Um, so for me, when I first started out, I was on my own and I have no clue of what to do. I just went on the website, filled out the paperwork, and they gave me a 0% uh, for a scar when I had my appendicitis, which in itself was a whole bigger ordeal because it went from 0% to 5% because of the fact that I was having stomach issues. So I had to take medication, generic purple pill, as I call it, the Motordone for acid refluxes and things like that. Um, and during the time since migraines was new to me, because I never had migraines before.
I'm
Wait,
sorry,
what
Mr.
happened
Best.
there?
I'm sorry, Mr. Best. I'm trying to pull you up. I'm trying to pull you up on your own screen. Excuse
There
me.
you go.
You got to excuse me, sir.
It's okay. It's okay. So migraines were very, very new to me. So I didn't know the severity of it. So when you put in to go get evaluated and you believe you're doing the right thing by answering truthfully and honestly, when the right thing is not getting you the care that you need.
Mm. Okay.
So it's like it's you're trying to get the it's more or less that they don't believe that you are answering truthfully. That's what the point is. So they basically evaluate on what they assume, what they believe that you're actually going through, the problems that you're actually going through. uh, During the time that I was going through my evaluation, it was the VA hospital that was actually doing the evaluation. It wasn't an outside source.
Okay.
So that was a problem within itself, because you now you got people within the government who is basically for the government trying to evaluate something that is new to me, for one, and that never been reported because it happened on the way out of the military.
Mm.
Um, so the difficulty is knowing then what I know now. I would have went a whole different route. Um, but even in my paperwork, if I remember correctly, the doctor saw signs of PTSD back then, but because I denied having it, um, he didn't follow through with it.
Yeah.
Which is which is I'm not a doctor.
Okay.
I didn't go to
Yeah.
school, you know, eight
But
years of school.
at the same time, there's so many people out there in the world with mental health issues that even go through therapy and counseling, and a counselor or a therapist may suggest that they have something or suffer from something, or they're showing signs of something, and if that person denies, it automatically either doesn't get put in the record or gets put in that patient denies that they have this. But these are the
Right.
professionals that are supposed to be assessing and caring for us.
You're supposed to
and
know. You're supposed to know the difference.
I'll take it a
and
step
I mean,
further and say that these insurance companies
oh
working with
yes,
companies that they work for are the
wrap
wrong
right
thing.
around the finger.
That's right.
Yeah,
They have to go along with the company's judgment
yeah,
on where they want the money
yeah.
to go. Um,
There
Mr.
it is.
Mr. Best, or I'm gonna let my co-host Jinx keep going. I'm gonna let you keep going.
So, as we know, the system's always going to buck back, always going to give people the hardest time, always going to do everything they can to hold on to all their pennies. And I understand that you have found a way to not only get your benefits, but there is possibility for people to get additional benefits if they're receiving VA benefits. Is that true?
Uh, well, the benefit, I wouldn't say additional benefits. It Because every state is different. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't sit there and say, yeah, there's additional benefits, but depending on the state. Because for me, um, like right now, uh, I'm in Virginia. Okay, so my benefits here are basically like property taxes. I don't have to pay at 100%. That's at 100%. You don't have to pay that property tax. But in the same token, like I have another veteran that I know of. He has two vehicles. He don't pay property tax on either one of his vehicles. I have a vehicle and a motorcycle, and I still have to pay property tax on the motorcycle. I still have to pay property tax on the trailer. So it's like for certain veterans, I could say he was married at one time, so his spouse fell underneath the same. So if the vehicles was registered to his spouse, they don't,
Okay.
You had the
after the
tax
vehicle,
exemption as well.
Right, right. That's where it covers as well.
Yeah,
While
right.
I'm a single man, so it doesn't cover that part. Uh, so it's things like that. It's not additional benefits, but it's things that if you don't know to file for, you don't get. Um, because if you don't know that your state is offering that, where I can get a free fishing license, I could get discount on hunting license, I can go into parks for free and things like that, the national parks and everything for free. If you don't know that for your state, you will never know to file for it. And you have to be able to look at what your state is giving those veterans with that disability for.
Gotcha.
But the thing that helped me the most was two things. One, uh, when Trump came into office, he allowed veterans to go outside of the VA hospital to get our medical attention. So that helped a lot. And the second thing was Veteran Service Office, VSO, Veteran Service Office. Uh, when you set up an appointment with them to review your claim, especially ones that has been denied, you don't wait the year out and be like, oh, I need to go here. No, as soon as you get the deny letter, you go and apply to the Veteran Service Office. They can look into your case and actually give you the reason why it was denied. Because that's the one thing that we don't get on the letters is the reason why we were denied.
See,
So
that
we
right
set
there is
up
ridiculous. That right there
right.
makes no sense.
Oh, can I ask Mr. Best a question? I would like to ask you what advice would you have to give somebody who is just starting to try and get their VA benefits?
The most important thing is the way you apply. I would say the best thing to do is to go to the Veteran Service Office first before you apply, because they can give you a better idea of how to apply. Because like my TBI, my PTSD are, how should I say, are basically underneath each other. One is a
They
supplement,
piggyback.
right? One is
Yeah.
because of the other. I didn't know that anything else I filed after that has to be filed underneath those two, because everything else that happened is a result. Because I got like sleep apnea. So the sleep apnea came as a result of the TBI. So things were developed now. Instead of me filing it underneath the TBI, I filed it separate by itself, which is an
Mm,
issue. So they looked at it as a separate claim and not that this developed because of the TBI.
gotcha.
And I learned that through the veteran services is that things have to be filed in a certain order as, you know, what happened because of the incident.
Okay, right.
So
Uh,
you have to understand what it is that you're filing and which order to file it in. So you can't just say, well, like for me, the sleep apnea and the TBI, file it separate. Because that's what they're going to look at it. They're going to look at it as being a separate when one is the result of the other.
that's right. It's harder to get paid, or it's harder for them to come to grips with two different claims than to come to grips with
It's
one
come
that
up,
has
yeah,
different files.
yes, yes.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. I would also like to ask you one more before I hand it back to my co-host. I would like to ask you, and this is a question I have personally, what inspired you to want to teach other vets about this system?
The thing is because a lot of the times as veterans, we get mistreated and we're not important until an incident breaks, like war. Or, somebody fighting with another country. Then everybody wants to be, oh, yeah, we're on the side of a veteran.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, we're giving veterans a discount. Oh, yeah, it's not until we're needed that we begin to be heard. And
I get that.
we should always be heard. We've always been here.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
right.
we're if anything were to happen within the country, we're the first ones to step up. Um,
I'm gonna
I
step up
was
with you
I
though.
got out before the Gulf War, and as soon as the Gulf War took happened started, I went right back to the office and say, "Hey, I need to sign up." And they say, "Why you got out?" But and they give it once I gave them the reason, it's like, "Well, you can't get back in because you got to get cleared medically." But we're the first ones. We will be the first ones. We will always, because to us, our duty didn't end when we got out. So as veterans, I mean, every day that we get up, it's still our duty to protect this country. So for us, it's important that we get heard. A lot of people are not paying attention to it.
You guys should be taken care of 100%. I agree, hands down,
100%.
100% from the door. No fighting, no arguing, no nothing. Gentlemen,
Especially for most
that's
of us who get medically discharged in the first place, that should be the automatic.
right.
You
Yes, I
know,
agree. 100%. I agree. I know quite a few people who've been medically discharged and fought for their benefits. It took them a while. I wasn't aware of the fact until after we brought up the topic of this show. I knew they were veterans. I knew, that they had served our country, but I didn't really pay attention to much after that. And
yeah,
when I stop and think about the amount of people, the veterans that are essentially discarded by this country once they're no longer of use, once them serving this country is now costing them something because that person is disabled or unable to care for themselves or their family the way they did before they went to serve our country. It absolutely blows my mind that the government is able to get away with that shit. It makes
right.
me sick. Like you said, medical. If you're medically discharged, that should be automatic. Automatic.
Yeah, 'cause
Period. If
for me,
if I came in
me
to
too.
serve y'all and I can no longer serve y'all because of a medical issue that happened on your watch in on your time while I was serving y'all, y'all gonna be responsible. Y'all gonna
There you go.
handle whatever needs to be handled to make sure me and mine are taken care of. Period.
And a lot of people, it's like if you was at a regular company, a privately owned company, whatever, and we got hurt on the job, and we file a lawsuit against this privately owned company, we get
Yep.
win $1 million lawsuit, and we taken care of because
Yep.
we millionaires at that point, you know.
Yep.
But because this job that we at is a government job, we can't get that. We can't get that $1 million lawsuit, you know. And,
And not
and
just that, but
what
the
they
health.
do? Let me hold on. What they're doing
Yeah.
now, also, just to advise these veterans, they're trying to sit there and say when you file your claim, that's as far back as you can go. Okay, which is even worse because a lot of us have the issue from the time we got out. And because you get denied or the things get overturned or you filed it the wrong way, you basically have to start all back over. And every time that you start back over, it starts that date from the time that you filed. Some of them can go back if they sit there and say, okay, we see you filed here. But even if the paperwork was filed incorrectly because you're unwillingly unknown, you didn't know how to file it, they don't count that. They don't count that date. They count it from the time that it was filed properly,
Mm,
which is worse
that's
because
messed
now you're
up.
looking, yeah,
But at the
you're
same
missing
time,
all that
why are there not services in place to make sure that all of these things are being filed properly the first time?
because they want you to have that struggle. They want to weed out those who's going to sit there and say, "Well, I tried, so I'm gonna leave it alone."
Yeah.
It's like even now when I because the reason why I have to work is because things happen in life that 100% doesn't cover. I mean, I got a home to take care of, and things like that to take care of. I got still got my kids that I try to help out as well too, and the things that come up. So it forces you back into the workforce, and Social Security disability just deny you from the beginning. And then you shouldn't have to go through a lawyer when both of these things are state or government funded. If I put in my
Exactly.
time, I paid in my dues from since I was 18 years old. I'm 50 now. I paid my dues into the Social Security system. I deserve those.
That's right.
I deserve that.
That's right. You
You
do.
know,
You
I
do.
put into the system.
You do.
I'm not sitting out here and not didn't work and then try to get some disability. I worked.
That's right.
I put in my time. So the reason why I'm back at work is because Social Security doesn't see me as unable to work when they don't know the hardship of it all, of what it takes for me to even get up to go to work.
Mm. You never know
Because
that trouble.
the TBI, there's a lot of issues that comes along with that medically. And it's a whole different mentality that we have to get up and we have to wake up to. A lot of people who have TBIs. Um,
So, Mr. Best, um, I would like for you to explain a little more on how your 20 or 19-year process was to get your 100%. I would like you to explain a little more. We got into the basics. You told them to go to the
yeah, yeah.
VA, but I want to get a little deeper into that.
Okay. Once you go into, let's see, let me start over. Once you apply for your disability, you get the letter saying that you've been denied. Everybody's going to get denied the first time around. That's their way of just trying to weed out the people who are faking it. Uh, so you're going to get denied the first time around,
Wow.
guaranteed. Uh, if anything, they might give you 0% or even 10% just to kind of hush you up. Um, but you know how your disability is. They can't tell you how much your disability affects you. They can't tell you how much it disturbs your day or interrupts your life of living. So you have to keep filing. Once you go back and file again, or before you file again, talk to Veteran Service Office. You can talk to Dave. Dave was a group that did help me, uh, but basically all they really did was tell me to file it over again. Uh, go back before. Uh, you had to excuse me because the TBI interrupts my train of thought sometimes.
No
So
worries.
Take your
I
time.
keep
No
forgetting the
worries.
name. Yeah, yeah. I keep forgetting the name of it. Uh, but when they go through to do to evaluate you, um, you have to I, see during the time that I went and got evaluated. It was during the time that they were still in the VA, where my neurologist, who was actually you know seeing me, was my evaluator. So to me, it's like, how can he be your evaluator when he's not going to sit there and admit that he's evaluating you wrong? He's providing you treatment wrong, or he knows how much treatment you're getting. So how can he evaluate you to make him look like he's not doing his job? You know. So that's why I say when Trump came in and he overturned everything to where we could get outside services, it made it possible for me to get a better evaluation. Uh, and with that, I went to the Veteran Service Office because they got me up to at least 70%. You know, um,
And that's through years of fighting?
that was whew, 15 years of fighting,
Wow.
and I was
Wow.
with Dave for the whole 15 years. Because I didn't know anything different, and it wasn't until I started talking to other veterans that I learned about the Veteran Service Office. Yeah. Because we hear other people say, "Oh, I got 100%." You're like, "How you get 100%?" And some people be like, "Oh, I just applied." They don't want to tell you the steps that they took. They don't want to tell you that they went to the Veteran Service Office. Some of them went to lawyers, and a lot of things with the lawyers, they want that 15% or 20% that you get awarded back. So, I mean, like the place that was outside of the veterans, the VA place in Roanoke is, it says VA disability. You call this 800 number, but it's a law firm, and they want the
Mm,
20% of money that they get when they backdate your pay. So they're in it for the money. They're there for the money. Veteran Service Office is a state funded um, company, basically.
So
It's
what
it's
you
for
just
the
talked
veteran.
about is scammers. What you just talked about is scammers out there trying to benefit off the back of
absolutely.
veterans who are
I mean,
unknowledgeable about a situation.
Hmm.
they are basically, yes. I would say I will put them in that category because they will tell you when you get evaluated what you need to say. I mean, basically almost word for word. So when you get evaluated for your PTSD, that this is what your issue is, and you be like, I mean, I was like that. I'm not saying that I'm knocking anybody for how they handle their situation, but I wanted to be more truthful because for me, the cure is better than the money. You know, for me, having migraines every day that lasted for 30 days or more, you know,
That's
I
horrible.
wanted to get rid of that.
That's horrible. Yes.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's the pain of an everyday pain.
Oh,
So I was more honest when I went through my evaluation.
good.
Um,
Good.
I ain't saying that everybody should take that same step. Don't get me wrong, but for you, if that's what you see that needs to be done, then you have to do
I
you.
think everybody should be honest. I think everybody
Yeah.
should be honest. I think
Absolutely.
those who deserve it should have it. I believe the veterans and all the people in the military are the NBA players of the United States, or however else you want to put
Yeah.
it. And I think that they should be getting that money instead of somebody dunking the ball. I've always believed that.
Right.
Yes.
There you go. Um, we're like I said, we're the first line. I mean, when something hits off, it's the veterans who's going to step up. You
That's
know,
right.
because
Absolutely.
I, for us, our tour duty doesn't end the day that we got out. Uh, it's still there. Most of us, I said most of us, I said majority of us will still defend this country.
Now,
We'll step up when it comes
there's
time.
another thing I noticed off when you were talking. I noticed that the government plays the same games with the military that they do with people incarcerated.
Absolutely.
By what you told me about how medical runs and how they did you medically, this is how the government is playing. Then I understand that that's their playing field and that's how they're going to treat you.
You know,
Absolutely.
my brother was in the incarceration. Right? He had much easier time to go to the hospital than what I did
Really?
as
Mm.
a veteran.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
my time, my because I was incarcerated. My time incarcerated was pretty much the way that they played with you and joked you around. They did not want to pay for it. They sent me to doctors that would then evaluate me under the state's pretext because they worked for the state, and then they'd say, "Give
There
him
you
some
go.
Motrin. Give him some Motrin. He's got a gunshot wound in the stomach. Give him some Motrin. Here you go. Here's some Motrin, 800. You should
Ibuprofen.
be fine." Yes,
I
that's
was
how they played it.
ibuprofen. Yeah.
That's how they
Yeah.
played it.
Yeah.
But
Everything
yes,
was ibuprofen.
yes,
It's a cure drug. That
yes,
was
that's
the
the
cure
cure
drug.
all.
Ibuprofen.
Yes, yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would, I would like to ask you now. What are some common misconceptions that veterans have about their VA benefits, if you know any?
A lot of the misconception is basically what I said earlier, where we file everything underneath separately
Mm,
when one is the cause of the other.
okay.
Uh, so we got to understand how to file, and nobody's out there is teaching us how to file for our claim. Like I said, Veteran Service Office. When I went in, I had a nice enough person to actually go through in detail and had me to understand how what I was filing was basically. Oh, and another thing, I made a mistake uh, filing one of my claims. I thought I was doing the right thing by providing them my medical records,
Mhm.
and and basically that hindered my decision making because they're like, okay, now you filing all of this and you giving us all of these medical records, but what are they for?
Mm.
And I'm like, well, so I know that y'all need medical because when I first filed it back in 2000, it was asking for my medical records.
Mm.
Now that I'm filing it 20 years later,
That's right.
they're like, no, we don't need it. Um, so a lot of the misconception is that you need those medical records.
Okay.
Uh, it's their job to go back and look through your medical records to find out what it is, what's in there or what's not in there, or what is your cure, what your ailment is, and how much of a percentage does it affects your daily work life.
Yes.
And that's the part right there that a lot of us don't do. We don't really talk up how much it affects our work or life because we were trained not to. The military taught us not to, you know, because they want you to be the soldier that
Right.
has no kind of illness, no matter
Weakness.
what.
Yep. That's
We were
right.
trained not to speak about our illness. It's like men not trained to talk about their feelings.
That's
We
right.
were trained not to talk about our illness.
That's right.
They train you to be
So,
a
with
warrior, not a human being.
not a
Land
human
of the
being,
plane.
they take away that part of your humanity. Yes,
Yes. Yeah, I never
and
understood
they
that.
don't.
Never
Yeah, they
understood
don't.
that.
They don't. They don't unchange it. They don't sit there and say, "Well, before you get out, what we're going to do is teach you how to be
A
a
person again.
lazy, average
Yes, a
person,
person
everyday
again.
person." You know,
Yes.
they don't train you like that, and then they just send you out into the world and be like, "Hey, you just deal with it. You're a soldier. You got to adapt and overcome." That's what they tell us. Adapt and overcome.
That's the government
But
way. I'm sorry to
civilian
say.
world, the civilian world is totally different from the military, and it's hard for us to adapt because we're used to these strict regiments. You know, uh, that's why a lot of the soldiers get in PTSD because of the fact is we were torn down and rebuilt in their manner, how they want us to be. Uh, so
Killers.
once we were, basically stripped away of us uh,
What
and
they built,
replaced, yeah, they basically built robots. Um,
and then stripped you again when they let you loose.
Unfortunately.
and they let you loose, and they let you loose like, ah, we ain't got nothing to do with you. You gave up on us, so we giving up on you. It was not that we gave up on us; it's just that we got injured to the point to where we can't be a viable asset to them. Uh, I say is my thing is if you tell me that I'm not 100%, that when I went to re-enlist, I should have been allowed.
Mm. That's right.
Whether
Absolutely.
my medical record said 10%, 20%, or 50%, if you sit there and tell me I'm a 50%, then I could be a 50% soldier inside the service.
Absolutely.
If that's the case,
I wouldn't want to do that to you. I wouldn't want to put you through more harm than you've already been. So
yeah,
I get it. I get you want to do it. I get your boy. They made you built for it. I get that. But at the same time, um, as of right now, from what you told me with the TBI and all that right there, um, I, I would never want you to have to go back and do it again because it took you
Yeah.
through loops the first time. So imagine what the second time would do.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, everything basically is that I got lucky. Um, I
You're
mean,
blessed. You're
because
blessed.
a
Very blessed.
TBI, a TBI is basically fatal. Uh,
Mm.
So it is not like your brain can't be refixed. You can't fix the brain. So, but getting back to what the original subject is, uh, the veteran service office is your best issue, the best bet to go through to get, and make sure you get somebody that is willing to tell you exactly why you've been denied, exactly how it is you need to file. Um, if you need to, take a tape recorder with you, record it so you can play it back later because they're not going to be there when you file it. So you need to have it written down, or if you take somebody who has a great memory, because my memory sucks because of my TBI.
Mine
So,
too. Don't
but
worry about it.
my memory sucks. So get somebody who has a great memory, take some notes, write it down, and when you go back to file it again, make sure you do it in those steps. Make sure they do it the way that they tell you to do it, because that's the way you get approved of everything. Um, the denial process is going to happen. Can't let that discourage you. A lot of us do get discouraged, uh, and it plays with your emotions, your anger, your everything, and you put it off until you put it off, and then next thing you know, it's too late. Because now they're trying to put a lock on it to where you can't apply for that same thing, that same issue again. It has to be a supplemental. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Issue. It has to be a supplemental issue.
Wow.
If you try to file it again, like say for instance, you filed for your back and they denied your back, but they denied me my back, and I was in the Hummer riding, bumping up and down. I was in the head-on collision in the Hummer, and they denied me back. So because I let that slip, all the way to the point to where, oh, my lower back, my tailbone hurts. They're like, well, you can't file because all of that's part of your back.
Back. Wow. That's dirty. That is
Uh,
dirty. Mr. Best, I would like to thank
so
you. I would like to thank you. Let me get what you was just about to say. I don't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. My thing is make sure you don't let your anger overcome what it is you're trying to accomplish. Don't let your pride overcome what it is you're trying to accomplish, because they are expecting that. You know, they're expecting you to quit. Keep applying, no matter if they deny you 100 times. You keep applying.
Stay heads.
Go find somebody else that you can talk to. There are other benefits. They do have job placement. They don't tell you that they have this. You can go down into the VA area, and they have a whole section that is set aside for job placement. They have um, therapy sessions that people can go sit in, for sit down to talk, communicate. My psychiatrist or psychologist or whatever you want to call them, they say because they took too long to diagnose me that I'm pretty much set in my ways. So for me to go through the therapy all over to get uh, adjusted to civilian life, they say there's basically no hope. So
There's always hope. There's always hope.
there's
Always.
always hope. There's always hope. But
Always.
mine is because the anxiety from my PTSD triggers migraine, which triggers the TBI migraines, which everything just kind of bobbles up. They don't know
Piggyback.
which one causes what. But there is other stuff out there in the hospital that when you go to the VA, they have for you. Um, and those are the other benefits that you were talking about earlier. Those are the other benefits that they can do for you. They got classes that you can take. They got classes for job services, for your resume, for things like that. Uh, they offer all of that inside of the VA, but they just don't tell you. It's
But
like,
another thing that's what I wanted to touch on before we end the show, because this is really amazing to me. That's what it was I was thinking of earlier when I spoke. It's the loophole that you found, that you can actually collect all of your benefits and still work without them trying to take anything away from you.
right, right.
A lot of people
When you
may
get
not know about that.
once you get 100%, you got to make sure there's 100% permanent, because there's 100% temporary, where they believe over a certain amount of time that, like, say for instance, you break a finger. Once the finger heals, you're able to go back to work. Okay, so that's the temporary one. If they say you're 100% permanent, that means no matter what, it's not going to change. If
Yeah.
instead of me breaking a finger, if I lose a finger, that's not going to change. I'm not going to regrow a finger. So you got to make sure that's
Now,
100% permanent.
throughout this process, when you weren't yet getting 100%, did the VA and the disability portion of these benefits alter or cap how much you were able to work? How did that look?
Part of it was education wise. Uh, when I went to try to get uh, the education part of it, they denied that because they said my disability wasn't high enough. But during that time I was like 30%. They say, oh, your rating is not high enough. But in order for me to survive, I had to go back to school. um and which with the TBI is very hard and difficult, uh because I have short-term memory loss. um Basically I had to cheat my way through school. uh, that was the only way I could do it.
You did it though. You did it.
Yes.
I did it. I did it. I
Yes.
mean, I'm not proud of how I did it, but once you start, you can't quit. Uh,
I just want to
and
say
that goes the
I'm
same thing
proud
with
of you
you.
for it. I want to say I'm
Yeah,
proud of
Absolutely.
you for it. I don't
thank you,
care how
Absolutely.
thank
Where
you.
you
there's
did
a
it. You
will,
did
there's
it.
a way. You made it happen.
That's right. I'm
Man,
proud of you
You
for it.
you had a disability that the government was counting on you was not going to be able to get through and get above,
That's right.
or the school
there you
may
go.
have thought that, and you did whatever the hell you had to do to get where
That's
you
right.
needed to be. I salute you.
That's right. Me too.
Thank you,
There's
thank you.
millions and millions and millions of people that came before you that did not get those rights and those benefits. So
Yeah,
you
Or
are
the
people.
education they
There
were
you go.
promised when they first started this.
There you go. Yes.
there you go. There you go. They promise you a lot and they don't deliver. Because they sit there and say, yeah, you can get the education benefits, and then it's a timeline. They give you a
Mm,
timeline that you have to use it by, and,
mm.
and it shouldn't be that.
No,
You
it
shouldn't
should
have
Nah,
not.
that.
if it's given
No, it
to you,
should
it's
not.
yours. You use it whenever
Yeah.
the hell you want to. I will wait till I
'Cause
was 80 years old. I'm gonna start go take these classes.
It
there
should
you go. It's
never.
like when people get out of high school, they don't want to go directly into college. There's some people that's out there that go to college a year or two later
That's right.
because they want that little break, and it should be the same way. But they don't. Military don't see it that way. Once you
That's
get
right.
out, they give you like 2 years to use your benefits, and if you don't use it within
Wow,
those 2 years, guess what?
That's wrong. That is absolutely
And
wow.
very much wrong.
same thing goes through with your disability. As soon as you get out, they give you a certain amount of time. There's also a life insurance because I didn't know that either. You can get life insurance as soon as you get out
Yeah.
through the military at a lesser
Mm,
price than what civilian life insurance offered. But
mm.
I didn't know that, and I didn't find out till 15 years later. And now that 15
Wow,
years later, it's like, no, you don't qualify.
Wow. That's wrong.
wow.
That's wrong. Absolutely wrong.
That's a
Yeah.
whole lot of stipulations for somebody who was willing to give their life. That's a
That's right.
whole lot.
That's right.
Right.
That is
These
absolutely
And
scales
right.
they
ain't
don't tell.
never been even.
Mr. Edwin,
I tell people, everybody who goes in today, I say, no matter what they tell you, if you get a splinter in your finger, you make sure you report it.
that's right.
You
That's
go
right.
through and get it written down. Because during the time that I was in, I happened to get shot in my vest, but I didn't report it. Because I didn't know where the shot came from. It was just out of the blue, out of the no sound. Unlike to what people hear tell you, you're gonna hear the gunshot. No, depending on how far away, you don't hear a gunshot.
That's right. I know
You
that.
just feel the impact. That's it.
I
And
think that they should have. I think that I don't know why. Well, I do know why, so that you guys can't capitalize on your benefits or saying that you're
Yep.
hurt. But everything should be jotted down. Every log book
Absolutely.
should be done. Every injury should be taken down.
Yes.
That's
everything,
just how society works. I thought, but I see that the government has different plans. They like to
Oh, they
hold back.
they on their own time.
Yeah, that's
Mm-mm.
right. That's
right,
absolutely right.
right. They like for the fact them keeping the money for themselves. They want to spend $1,000 for a hammer,
Yeah,
you know, that they never use. That
yeah,
sits in the office doing nothing.
yep.
They want a
Mm.
reason to tax us, the working class. They want to sit there and say, "This is what we need the money for." Paying for a hammer or screwdriver more than what you can get at Walmart or Sam's or wherever store. They want that reason to tax us the extra money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
They see us as expendable.
right.
Yeah.
And basically, that's why I'm working now because they want that reason for the income to come in. I mean, if I
Gotcha.
was just collecting my disability and sitting at home, they have no reason to have the income. So they're going to deny you every chance they get.
Gotcha. Mr. Edwin, I want to thank you for tonight. I want to thank you for showing up tonight. I want to tell you personally that I learned so much just from hearing you speak, and then I correlated it to my own life, and
Yeah,
it's I can see so many different issues going on with the society and the government that we work for, that we defend, that we pay taxes to and pay tribute to. I can see so many things that we are being mistreated as people, and that's what I'm trying to change, and we are trying to change. Is to change the fact that we know our rights, and as the good old Constitution states, we the people, we have the right to change whatever's going
yeah,
on, as long as we stand up to fight. I see you have fought for yours, and just like you, I plan on fighting for mine every step of the way through this life. I salute you. You are, like I said, a gentleman and a scholar. I thank you. Jinx, do you have anything that you want to say?
I just want to thank Edwin very much for your knowledge and your experience. We really appreciate you coming down, and I wish you the best in all your endeavors. And I thank you for your service to this country. And I
very
hope and pray that you are able to continue to be successful in your own right and your own terms, and not what the government might have told you should or shouldn't be doing.
Absolutely.
yeah,
I agree
appreciate that.
100%. I agree
Yeah.
100%. Do you have any
I
final
mean,
statements, Mr. Edwin?
yeah, my final statement to all veterans is don't give up. File. You fought for it. You deserve it. Check out Dave. Check out the Veteran Service Office. Check out any of those institutions that would sit there and say, I hear you. And I'm going to try my best to help. You know, uh, if they want to have a conversation, I'll say for them to reach out to the gag order. You
Absolutely.
can reach out to me,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
Yes,
I'll
yes.
greatly do my best to help them.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate y'all for doing this because a lot of people don't want to speak on this type of subjects.
No, I'm here for
They
all
want
of
to
it.
stay away from
I'm
it.
here for all of it. And I need for
We the
people to
gag order.
understand.
That's what
That's
we
right.
came for.
That's right. I need
Yeah,
people to
yeah.
understand that this is real, and we need to start paying attention and understanding. The more we understand, the more they can't hide from us, the more they can't trick us, the more they can't use us. And this is what I'm
That's
There you
trying to
go.
right.
do. I'd like to
That's
say
it.
good night to everybody. You guys have
Good
a
night,
wonderful
y'all.
night, and I thank everybody for watching. Mr.
See you
Edwin, hold
next
on a
week.
second. I'm gonna close out the show, and we'll see you next week, 9:30. Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. is when the gag order is live on social media, and we'll be here every week. We here. Thank you for
Tap
showing up.
in.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.